the learners can demonstrate hospitality. Now, and then today's also life need for today's lesson is when guests are invited to particular types of celebration, they expect the host to have enough food and beverages. Now, I want to comment on life need for today's lesson. Now, we are all hosts in Christ. Some of us are elders in Christ, some of us are babes in Christ, some are adolescents in Christ, some of us are adults in Christ. But we all are hosts to those who don't know. And we are all hosts to everybody that we come across because we are the advocates for Christ. We are the light leading to Jesus. And is our light dim or is it shining brightly? So how we interact with people and how we just had the lesson on Jesus don't reject anybody. How do we act with people? Do we reject them because of how they look? You know, this big thing right now in the world is different styles and fashions and everything. Now, most of us got a few seasons in us, so we didn't come along with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So how do we reconcile what Jesus wants to do with how we feel personally? You know, do we still provide them food and enough to drink of the living word when we run into them, or do we kind of put ourselves before what we're supposed to be doing for Christ? Okay. Now, I'm gonna start here. Sister Rebecca, you want to read a light on the word? I can read it if you can. Okay.
In
Go ahead.
this time, large stones, jars were often used to hold the water used for ceremony cleaning.
Yes, sir.
Stone jars made of other substance were most easily cleaned and therefore suitable for use as demanded by the strict requirements of Jewish law. The jars would have been used for ritual hand washing prior to the meals, and the mention of the numbers and sizes are an indication of the number of wedding guests. To use these jars for another purpose would temporarily defile them.
Thank you, Deacon Kennedy. Now, the reason I had him read that is because that's going to come into play farther on in our lesson. Becky,
Okay.
go ahead and read signs because that's very important as well.
The Apostle John, writer of the Gospel of John, always referred to Jesus' miracles as signs. This is significant because John is appointing the reader always from the deeds itself to what it's accomplished and why. In this story, Jesus performs his first sign by turning water into wine. The imitate results of this action is that the wedding guests were happy, but the greater result was that Jesus' glory was revealed and his disciples believed in him.
Now, the reason I wanted us to go over that one is because it's given a kind of setting the stage and an understanding of what this lesson is and the purpose of it, which is John called Jesus' miracles signs, you know, so synonym, okay? And also that his first miracle sign was turning water into wine. But the reason he did that it was servitude to others, and we'll get into that. But it also, in doing so, and it'll come out later on in the lesson, that revealed his glory, and it also gave his disciples, you know, it's like, you know, let's say you believe in your parents or you believe in somebody for whatever reason, right? You know, you have that belief, you have that trusting belief. But when they do something that proves, it's like when, I guess we could say when the rubber meets the road, you know, you go to school or whatever, you get a lesson, so you have the theory. Well, when they do it, that's proof. That's putting practical application into it. So when Jesus started performing miracles, and this was his first one, that's like, okay, yeah, he said he is, and I believe he is, but now I can see he's showing, he's demonstrating through physical actions. Okay. Now I'm gonna read the next one. To say, Life lead for today's lesson. Students will learn that when guests are invited to particular types of celebrations, they expect the host to have enough food and beverages. Now, I'm referring back to what I said at the beginning. We're all hosts to people that are either new to Christ, don't know Christ, or we out there just advocating in what we would call evangelizing for Christ. Because everybody we meet, how we act and how we interact with them, we be an evangelist. We taking the word of God through our actions and through our behavior and our demeanor to them. Mm-hmm. Now, are we going to give them enough food of the word so they can drink from our wealth of knowledge and belief and faith, from our example? Or are we going, like I said, we're going to look at them like, oh man, they got an earring in their nose, they got all these tattoos, they dress whatever, they listen to this music or whatever, or they talk or whatever. So are we going to give them enough food as a host for Christ? Are we going to give them enough food to fulfill them until they get what they need and they can, okay. Now, introduction. The wedding feast. Weddings were very important social events in biblical times. It is likely that most wedding feasts lasted 7 days, and though guests were expected to bring gifts, it was up to the host, remember I was saying we the host, to provide enough food and drink for the entire feast. So that means, coming back to what I was saying, we got to be able to give somebody that's in search of Christ enough so that they can get full, so they can go out there and, be able to set their own plate and become their own host, okay? All right. People normally drank only water or wine as not much else was available. However, for a normal beverage, this wine was sometimes watered down with a ratio of 2 to 3 parts water and 1 part wine. In other words, it wasn't the good stuff. It was like, hey, I'm giving you something, but I ain't giving you my best. That's just like if you take somebody or you invite somebody over to your house and you eating steak and you giving them Vienna sausage. Okay. Now, the master of the banquet was not necessarily the bridegroom or host, but a person in charge of making sure that the wine was properly diluted. So I guess in this case, it'd be the master of ceremonies. He's the organizer. He's the orchestrator. He performs the duties of the head deacon. He makes sure everything's set so that what needs to be done, you have everything you need to do it. It goes as well. It's organized. You got the support. You got all the equipment that you need to do it, okay? Let's see. This person would also oversee the consumption of wine to prevent anyone's drinking to excess or becoming drunk. Still, the guest's sense of taste would likely be dulled after several days of feasting. So basically, I guess what they're saying here is this takes some judgment and some wisdom, like, right? You don't want to keep giving somebody what they say 2 drink minimum in some places or whatever, or a lightweight or whatever. Then you got the students of drink. They they going for their PhD in drinking and stuff. Well, you got to be aware of this and stuff because you can't have anybody being disruptive and stuff. So okay. Still, the guests were sense of taste. Therefore, the best wine was always served first. It's just like anything else. When you first meet somebody, they always saying about, you don't get a second chance to put your best foot forward or make a good first impression. So they would start out with, giving their best. It's just like when you meet somebody you want to impress, whether at a job interview, your beloved's family or whatever, the first time you meet them, or even your beloved. You don't come out doing your worst. You come out there trying to hide your flaws and, you know what I'm saying? You come put your best foot forward, okay? At the beginning of the celebration, with the cheaper or more watered down wine being served at the end. If the supply of wine ran out before the feast was over, the master of the banquet would be held at least partially responsible for this embarrassing social blunder. Now, you know how people in general are. They forget all. If you do 99 good things, that one faux pas or that oops that you made, they going to remember that. They not going to remember anything else. And in other words, people like to embrace your flaws or your failings or something, or when something go wrong. They don't like to have a lot of understanding, okay? To fail to offer proper hospitality to guests was a serious offense and would surely be remembered for years to come. So everybody gonna remember, like, man, we went to Deacon Spencer's wedding and man, the food was horrible and wasn't even enough. So it's like it was bad enough it wasn't good. They didn't even have enough of the bad food to go around. So, okay. Now, with that being said, somebody go ahead and read the first verse, please.
And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there.
Okay. Go ahead and read number 2 as well for us, sir.
And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage.
Okay. Now, sir, if you can, or anybody, what do these two verses mean to you? What understanding or that do you guys gather from these two verses?
They were invited
Mm-hmm.
to the marriage, the wedding rather,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jesus brought his disciples with him
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yep.
marriage or to the wedding.
That's right. Anybody else have anything on that one? Okay. This is what the book says, and this is what I kind of got.
Is that when
Go ahead. Go ahead.
when Mary
Use your mic so we can hear you.
when Mary brought in Jesus for his presence, his
Mhm.
beginning of his ministry?
Yes. Okay. Good. Good. Because you got into what I'm going to say. So what I gather from this, and thank you, Deacon Kennedy, and thank you, Sister Spencer. In contrast to the other gospels, the Gospel of John introduces the mother of Jesus as being present from the beginning of his public ministry. John never refers to Jesus' mother by her name, Mary. She is either referred to as the mother of Jesus or woman. By her introduction in the first verse, the reader can infer that Jesus' mother has a central role in the passage. Jesus is introduced second, with the disciples added as an afterthought. Okay, which is very good. Okay, now, the story of Jesus turning water into wine at Cana is only told in the Gospel of John. That's another thing that did anybody else ever think about that? So that was good, Okay. The village of Cana is located northwest of Jesus' hometown of Nazareth. And let's see what's. And moreover, the third day foreshadows Jesus' resurrection, the ultimate miracle. So the first verse, when it says the third day, well, Jesus rose on the third day. So remember, the Bible's always interconnected it's about numbers, but everything that's said in the Bible is either telling you about something that's going to come or foretelling you something that's going to happen, or connecting something that's going to happen, or fulfilling something that's already been told. So, okay.
Prophecy.
Now, any questions on those two verses?
Nope.
No. Okay, then by all means, please go to number 3. Anyone?
And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Did you want me to read the other
Mm-hmm.
one? Did you want me to read the other one?
Well, we're gonna get to that one, but go ahead. I mean, tell me what you think about that verse.
Well, they were worried because they ran out of wine, and
Mhm.
she knew that only Jesus could perform a miracle. And to
Who's they? They didn't know.
no,
They
no,
didn't know the wine was
her,
gone yet. Oh, good,
her,
good.
her,
Right.
the mother,
Mm-hmm.
can help them out
Mm-hmm.
because they had no means of getting more wine.
Now,
I don't know if there was more
now I
supply.
like what you said, but here, help us out with something. Can you expound on your statement about she expected Jesus to perform a miracle? Because what in your words is a miracle?
Something to appear.
And I say a miracle is an act of divine
Of divine power.
um um occurrence. In other
Intervention.
words, hold on, go ahead. What you got over there?
Intervention.
Huh?
Divine intervention.
Yeah, well, intervention. Okay, what does intervention mean? I'm gonna go along with this.
Something that's supernaturally occurring, whether you prayed about it, asked about it, or something that needs to be done to confirm something.
Okay. Well, the divine intervention means that's right. Something that has to come from God. Intervention in and of itself just means something had, like you said, something had to be done. So me and you or us can do an intervention. That people have an intervention. Hey, you're drinking too much, or you're not treating your family right. You're not taking care of your responsibility, and somebody bringing it to your attention. That's an intervention. A divine intervention is it's done by God. Okay. So, but you ladies are both correct. Okay. So, with that being said,
The other thing.
now go ahead and go
Caveat.
ahead. Go.
Okay, so you wanted to know why? Well, my caveat is that here is Jesus. They were invited to the wedding, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and Jesus's mother noticed that they're out of wine.
Mm-hmm.
So, being a mother, she wants to put Jesus on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
which mothers likes to do. So she goes up and say, "Hey, they're out of wine."
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like indicating to him, "Well, I know you have some power around here, 'cause Lord knows, um, you're not, you don't have any sinful nature in you. So start this ministry that I know you're supposed to be
Ooh,
doing."
now see, you dancing around it. You was there, but you kind of went askew a little bit. Now, let me see if we can help. That was good. Now, this is what happened. After several days of feasting, Jesus' mother, Mary. Now, notice the commentary saying that, not the book of John. Remember, John only referred to her as the mother of Jesus, or that woman, or woman. Not that woman, but woman.
Woman.
Okay. But in this commentary, which is helping kind of bring up what you were saying a little bit more solidly, the mother of Mary came to Jesus to tell him that the host had run out of wine. Now, how she found out, I don't know. Maybe she was a
She's a mother. She knows these things.
yeah, but so she was a guest. She was a guest there too.
Yeah,
No,
but
now, what you're saying about he was the mother? Yes, she the mother of Jesus. So yes, she has some knowledge. Like, hey, I know who my son is. So
Mhm.
that's why she went to him. But I think she went to him, like you said, she went to him because she knows, like, man, if we had a wine, she understood the social implications, because it was probably some family members or something, or a friend or whatever. Because like you said, it was a social thing. So you knew somebody. She wasn't a plus one or something like that. But and then this is where you brought it in. She seemed to expect him to do something about it,
Yeah.
right? Because
Put him on the spot.
out of all the people there, other than the disciples, who else knew who Jesus was? Mom know, because she was told about him before she became with child. She felt him. Her sister, her cousin came through it. All this. So yes, she did. So in this response, yes, that's why she went to Jesus, because she knew who he was, her son. She knew who her son was, and she saw, it's like, man, something going on with the party. I need some help. Who can help? I know who can help. Now, maybe not everybody else knew, because it doesn't say how many other people knew that the wine was out. Because remember, we said if it had been discovered that the wine was out, then that'd have been a social embarrassment.
Yeah.
So,
And not only that, but it wasn't even his disciples, because it says he came with his disciples.
mhm,
They weren't aware of it.
right,
So they never went to him and said, "Hey, Jesus, they're out of wine.
right.
You want to perform a miracle or something? Do
So you're
something
right.
about it?"
Well, see, now we don't know what the disciples would have said if they'd have known about it. And the Bible don't even say how she found out about it. But we do know that she knew who Jesus was. So we can infer, we can presume, we don't want to assume, we can presume that she became aware. First of all, she was aware of the social graces. It's like, oh man, it's a wedding feast and we ain't got no more wine. Wait a minute, boy, y'all blessed. Y'all don't even know it. Why? Because my son, the Messiah, is here. Let me go. Hey, boy, we got a wine. That's basically how she put it to him. What you got over there?
No, basically, my understanding in this verse is that nobody knew. Nobody knew.
Well, she knew, because that's why she went to him.
No, she did, but
Right.
nobody else.
Right, but we don't know. Two things this verse said. She knew, and she went to the person that she knew could do something
No,
about it.
the host they called here is a governor.
Huh?
Yeah, they didn't know. Nobody
Right.
knew.
Okay. Like, you're right. Like I said, some way the mother of Jesus became aware, man, we got a wine. And she was already aware of who her son was. So why I'm going to go to Elder Bruce? I don't know if he can take care of it or not. I don't know if he can have an intervention or not. But I do know I can get a divine intervention. And in this case, let's be honest. Well, I don't know if there was any 7-Elevens around and stuff, but them people have been partying on the third day, and they say this thing goes on for up to 7 days. So either they was very short, it was very enjoyous of the libations. But you're right. She went to Jesus and said, hey, we out of wine. She didn't come to nobody else and say, hey, man, we out of wine. Now, somebody read verse 4.
And Jesus said unto her, "Woman, what have I to do with thee? My hour is not yet come."
Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, I'm glad you read that one. So go ahead and.
Okay, so Jesus' mother, made it known to him that there wasn't any wine.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus, being who he is, and knowing that his mother knows something about him,
Mm-hmm.
he was saying, "Why are you bothering me with this? This isn't my time. My hour hasn't come yet. So why are you making it known to me that you're out of wine? What you want me to do about it? Though she knows that he can do."
Now, I'm glad you explained that to us the way you explained to us. Because, see, a lot of people, and that's okay, a lot of people tend to take the position that Jesus was like being disrespectful or like calling his mama out, by his response, which opinions and perspective may vary. However, this is what they said. Jesus responded to her, reminding her that his hour had not yet come. In the book of John, Jesus' hour of time refers to his crucifixion.
Right.
So he's saying, and Jesus knew that once he revealed himself, his death would be imminent. Though it seemed as though Jesus brushed off her request, Mary, well, we going ahead. So anyway, we're going to go to the next one. Somebody read.
Number 5.
Wait
Okay.
a minute. Anybody got something on this verse?
Okay.
So for me, and it says here, I'm going to read this a little bit too. It says, nope, I ain't going to read that one yet. Go ahead.
Verse 5. His mother says unto the servants, whatsoever he says unto you, do it.
Ooh, I like that one. So what you get from that one?
Okay. She believed in her son. She knew he could do it, whatever it was that needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And when, well, I don't want to jump ahead, but she knew that Jesus could take care of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
to caveat, notice it says the mother said unto the servant. So now she's addressing the worker bees.
Why you think she did that? Okay, now let's be honest. Now, we all have mothers, and I don't think, with the exception of my wife, ain't nobody in here not black. Now, if you'd have addressed your mother like that, let's be fair. Ain't being fair. We being realistic about what our life experiences are. Would you have ever called your mother mother? Now, before you answer that, in these times, see, we just looking at the word. We don't know what the tone of it was. And also, back in those times, it was not inappropriate to necessarily refer to your mother as woman. So, but in the spirit of the congregation, if you ever said the tone or the word woman to your mother, you would have needed some divine intervention, right? So, but her response was, she didn't say nothing to him. She didn't say like, "Boy, who you think you're talking to?" She didn't. Matter of fact, she didn't even say nothing to him after he said it to her.
Well, don't forget that when he was 12 years old and he got lost and they were looking for her,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Don't you know that I must be about my father's business?"
Mm-hmm.
And they went home, and he was under their rule,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't really make any more fuss about it. And the Bible did say that she pondered stuff in her heart,
Right.
but he was a ordinary child, grew up.
There wasn't nothing ordinary about somebody telling their mother what he told her on either this verse or the verse you just doubting right there. Because I just gave an example of if any of us would have done that, or if you give me an example of anybody else in the world, in the history of the world, that responded to their mother like that, I'm with you. But see, that was go ahead.
I believe that he would just. I think his mother would react like any other mother. Okay, I think she would do it automatically. I know she knew that he was the Messiah, but she still had that love of a mother no matter what, and she would respond as a mother. Okay,
Let me give
And he
y'all an
would-
example of.
and he
Go ahead.
would remind her that he had to fulfill prophecy. That he
I
is
like
the
that. See, there
Messiah.
you go.
And but he, I don't feel that he was disrespectful, because in the culture they would refer him as woman, as they would call a
Yep.
father Abba or whatever.
Let me read verse 4, and y'all tell me what y'all's impression of that means in just the context or the tone I'll read it. Jesus says unto her, "Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come." Now, how does that reading of how I said it, does that sound disrespectful to you? It's, you know, it sounds like, to me, does that sound like that's a disrespectful response? He answered her question with a question, but he, like I said, remember tone. What's that old saying? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Now we not here, so we interpreting how we think his response was. Go ahead, what you got?
And sister had also read number 5, where it says, "His mother said unto the servant, whatsoever he hath done to you, do it." I I, I believe that she didn't want to expose by him saying that he's the
Mm-hmm.
Messiah at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay. Yep. You're right.
because he said
Good.
the hour hasn't come yet.
Right. Which he was referring to the hour. You know, maybe she didn't understand
To
what
reveal
he
that
meant
he
by
is
the
the
hour.
Messiah.
But he, like I said, he didn't speak the way I read it. I was just trying to give us a perspective to ponder. Is he was reminding her, hey, it's not my time yet. You know. Okay. Now let me read this. You got something?
No, I feel that he said that to make sure she doesn't broadcast it. But then again, Mary was not a braggadocious mother, but she needed to make sure that he started that ministry. He's at that
Now,
age.
see, you presuming because you don't know. Now,
Well-
and as far as broadcasting, with your comment about broadcast, yeah, she broadcasting because guess what? There was the other servants there, and when he responded to her, she didn't say nothing to him. She turned to the other people there, the other servants, and said, "Hey, whatever he say, do it."
Yes.
So she was broadcasting.
Yeah.
They
Well,
may not have known what was going on, but it was broadcast.
Yeah, but she didn't reveal that he was the
Right?
Messiah.
No. I'm just addressing what she said.
But at the same time,
Mhm.
which one of us, especially males,
Mhm.
have not have their mother somehow had to push you out of the nest? I mean, he's 33, right? And he still hasn't done anything. Now, you all have to remember, she knows something about this man,
Mhm.
about her son,
Mhm.
and she probably have information that we don't have.
Mhm.
Where it's, son, it's time for you to do what you came to do.
Mhm.
Don't be sitting there hiding or sitting on your gift and not helping out. So this is like the ideal place for him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Now,
what you
honestly, everything you're saying could be true. However, the Bible don't say that. So everything we talking about now is speculation and
Well,
inference.
I'm speculating that
No, I know. I'm
she
just
as a
saying.
mother had to push him out of the nest
Right.
and say, "Son, start this ministry."
Mhm.
You know, because if he kept doing that, he would be way down the road, and his ministry wouldn't have started.
Okay, we gon' all this is good commentary. It's a shame ain't more people here to hear it. They gonna miss out. They missing out a good one. Anyways, okay, so I'm gonna read for this and try to
6.
bring us back into it. Go ahead. What you got, Becky? No, we not going further. Some scholars are surprised at the disrespectful tone Jesus used with his mother. See, they assuming he was being disrespectful. We don't know because we wasn't there. His tone. See, tone indicates inflection of voice. You know, we don't know because we wasn't there. So everybody's saying they disrespectful tone. We don't know. They can say the appearance of the disrespectful vocabulary. You know, but then they've already explained that it wasn't disrespectful to address your mother as woman back then. Okay. His mother Jesus appears to place a certain distance between himself and his mother by calling her woman, even in the light of the command to honor one's parents. See, they once again they throwing all this. You like Bishop was saying earlier. Everybody always want to throw some shade on somebody and put they slant on it. You know, if you don't know, you don't know. Just the facts. Okay. Moreover, the bond between mother and son from ancient times to the present has been understood as usually close. Nobody ever said they wasn't close. Mothers are held in high esteem. True. Honor one's mother and father is one of the 10 Commandments. Yep. See, they all throwing this speculation, try to put that angle on there, but that's not there. Okay. Let's see. Jesus' terse response, which amounts to "it's none of our business," is not meant to be interpreted as a disrespectful retort to his mother. See, it's not meant to be interpreted as. In other places in John, this address is used in the context of revelation to a woman. It is more like "dear woman," like Abba is "dear father." Jesus is understood to be saying that he will not always allow even his mother to dictate his divine mandate. Only God sets the hour when Jesus' purpose will be revealed to the world. Does that bring everybody into perspective about why his response was? It wasn't like he was being disrespectful to his mom. It was just like you said, He was reminding her, hey, it ain't my time yet. You ain't God. You my mother. You ain't God. Okay. Let's see where we at. Rather than respond with, this is bringing up number 5. Rather than respond with, boy, don't you use that tone with me? His mother instructs the servants to do whatever he tells them. This indicates that she understood her command to do as Jesus says her, demonstrating what discipleship looks like. In other words, verse 5 basically, his mother went to Jesus and asked for something. We, as believers and followers of Christ, we can go to Jesus and ask him. We can ask of Jesus. But the thing about it is, after we ask of Jesus, do what he says. And verse 5 basically is a good example of that. She went to Jesus, she asked something of Jesus, but then she instructed others. She left herself out, but she instructed others like, hey, whatever he say, do. Does everybody kind of follow along with that? Okay, good, thank you. All right, so now, that being said, what number are we on now? 6? Huh?
6.
6? Go to 6, somebody.
And there was set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firstkin of
Yeah.
peace.
Okay, so basically, these water pots is just some big, huge water pots. And the reason they say in stone is because stone was used for cleanliness. Remember, the kosher way is always being clean and stuff, right? The stone pots was used for washing and everything, so they'd be easier or more apt to be clean.
Yes.
So he used those as opposed to clay. Plus, here's the big thing about these things, right? Each one of these things could hold 20 to 30 gallons. There were 6 of them. Remember now, they're on the 3rd day of a 7-day party. They already ran out of wine. So Jesus, being the divine one, he know, man, I can't go get a 6-pack. I got to go get, I got to have a lot. So he told him to do that. Okay, somebody go to verse 7, please. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 18, where are we at here? So basically, he's just giving them instructions, right? Okay. Okay, where is my
Yes.
19? I got my thing on 19.
Well, not only that, but back then these people like, this is a lot of water for us to be hauling.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just fill it to here.
Yeah,
and
but he
here.
didn't. No, he
But
didn't.
they fill it to the brim.
Well, you was in the military, so you'll understand this, and all the rest of us that was in the military understand this too, right? You got to work harder, not smarter. First of all, he gave them instructions. He didn't micromanage and tell them how to get it done. He told them, hey, he gave them task conditions and standards. He didn't tell them go do it this way. He told them, hey, go get this done, which is, boom. If they needed some clarification, they would have asked for it, or the scripture would have told that he gave them some clarification. So yes, they were big pots. All of us have had details before. I do details around here. You've done details around your house. If it's too big, you stop that 10 foot tall and bulletproof real fast, and you think, okay, I got to work harder. Work smarter, not harder, because my back already got issues and stuff. That's like me trying to carry that big speaker over there and put it up there. Now it came down from there. Now the bishop and Deacon Kennedy put it up there back in the day when they was both younger. They still strong, but I guarantee ain't neither one trying to do it right now. So they gonna come up with some different ways to do it. So of course the people did it. Like I said, each one of these things held 20 to 30 gallons.
Mm-hmm.
How many of y'all can carry 3 cases of water from y'all's truck to your house? And not you, Mike, because you and Deacon Kennedy got the arms, so y'all can get around. But the average person ain't carrying no 3, cases of water, let alone 20, 30 gallons. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Okay.
Right.
So,
But
this,
also,
this, go ahead.
but I also think it was about discipline, following his instructions
Right.
to be able to receive the blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And his instructions didn't say how to do it. He just told them what to do, right?
Yes.
And the big thing about this verse is they was using the stone jars to represent the cleanness, that they was following the rules of it, because, hey, I don't know how they make, they say they get in there and crumple the grapes with their bare feet in Italy and stuff. I don't know how we get with that one, but you know what I'm saying? Just that visual thing is like, well, I won't be drinking no wine. But anyways, this is painting the picture that it was done kosher, so to speak, with cleanliness, okay? Now, it also says, now, that being said, this brings me to the one I wanted to ask. Mary asked Jesus, to meet the need of their friends. Jesus chose to do so of his own accord. He instructed the servants to fill up the large stone pots with water. Jesus knew that using these pots for purposes other than ceremonially clean water would defile them, at least temporarily. Apparently, he chose to put his friends' needs over the demands of ritual. See? Now, please, somebody go to, where we at here? Number 8.
And he said unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governors of the feast. And they bared it.
What you got there, Big Mike?
Basically, he followed the instructions because of the banquet. He wanted them to give to the governors, to the leadership of the banquet, the clean water.
Now, you saying water. I know what you mean. Yeah, because he told them water. They know. But see, and honestly, let's be real. None of these servants drank that water that they put in there. So they probably thinking like, now he had us fill up these jars. Think about this now, because he didn't say he turned it into wine. He didn't say, oh, nobody had turned it into wine. He just said fill these jars up with water, right?
Yes.
So they did. And then after they did what he told them to do, then he gave them secondary command of execution, which is, now go give it to the governor. You know, which they, and let's be honest, they didn't question it because, you know, hey, private don't question nothing, but he be thinking like, ooh, Sergeant Major gonna get chewed out or whatever, because, you know, because when he take it to the governor, I understand the governor is the master of the feast and was responsible for seating arrangements, overseeing the courses, and tasting the food and drink. So when he had them fill up these jars, he told them to go give it to the governor so he could taste it. Now they gonna do it, but they like, man, I hope this ain't one of these guys that beat up the messengers, you know. Because, I mean, let's be real. They just filled it up with water. They ain't tasted it. They don't know. So they thinking like, man, I'm going to give the boss some water. All right? So they follow the instructions. So yeah, that's one of those, you find out who's in charge of the house. If your mama tell you do something, your daddy back you up or whatever, then you find out who's in charge. But right now they just being obedient. Okay? Now, next verse.
When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servant which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom.
Yep.
It was like, as it says on there, the head waiter tasted the water which had turned into wine, not knowing where it came from. Through the servant who had drawn the water knew, he called the bridegroom.
Yeah. Now, what do you infer from this, or what's your opinion of what's going on here, Deacon Candy, with this verse? Other than, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but let's infer, let's throw in some perspective and see what we think and what you think about that verse.
Well, like I just got through saying, he took the head waiter tasted the water which had turned to wine.
Yep.
And he realized it wasn't water anymore, not knowing where it came from. And then through that from that, the servant who had drawn that water knew that once he tasted it and found out it was wine, then he called the bridegroom to let him know that they had wine.
Yep. Very good, sir. Thank you. Yeah, so this verse basically saying like, okay, the servants went and took him the water, because unto them they didn't know that the water, because they ain't tasted it. They took the water to the head waiter, as you said. He tasted like, man, this tastes good. So he sent for like, hey man, go get the bridegroom, because he trying to figure out the bridegroom's got a place, you know, like you said. So he wanted to talk to the bridegroom, and then the next verse will reveal why he wanted to talk to the bridegroom. Somebody read that one for us.
And said unto him, every man at the beginning does set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now.
Ooh, so what's that verse saying?
That's why he called the bridegroom, because it's like, Okay, you need to explain. Explain to us how come you usually give us the good stuff at the beginning and then give us the worst stuff at the end, but here you are giving us the really good stuff
Mhm.
at the end. So so what happened?
Oh, oh, okay. Now, I'm in agreement with you, but I got to ask this question. Do you think he was questioning him, or you think he was like complimenting him, like, man, boy, I've been to plenty of parties, and they usually come out the good stuff, so we can get drunk real quick, and then they come out with the bad stuff later. You don't save the good stuff till later. Because remember now, they day 3, so they, unbeknownst to them, they ain't already ran out all the wine. So the good, bad, and the ugly wine was gone. Unbeknownst to them, Jesus made some Jesus wine. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know Jesus did it. All they know is that the
Can't get
party
better
kept
than
going
that.
on, and now the wine that they drinking because Jesus made it's like, of course it's gonna be better than anything else, anybody else. He don't know it, so he asking the bridegroom, man, wait a minute, what y'all? Okay, we usually break out most parties break out the good wine at the beginning, so we can get you, go ahead and get you three drinks in, and then we can start giving you that swill, that ripple or whatever you want to call it. But you came out with the Dom Perignon at the end. So he was complimenting, but he's bewildered too because, like you said, that wine, Jesus wine, better than anything. I ain't never had none, but I can imagine. Well, I'm just being honest, right? Everything Jesus provided to me in my life, my house, everything, is better than my own imagination, and I got a good imagination, y'all. I'm gonna just tell you. Anyway, but you see what I'm saying about that one? Okay. So, any questions on that one? Commentary?
No?
Got nothing? Okay. Go ahead and somebody read the next verse, please.
This beginning of a miracle did Jesus in Cana of Galilee and
Mhm.
manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what you got about that one? That's pretty straightforward. But
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first miracles that he did.
mm-hmm.
And so they saw his power
Mm-hmm.
of who he was, his glory.
That's right. But
And
you,
don't forget, if it wasn't for his mother,
oh Lord,
It would have never happened.
that's perspective because Jesus and the Lord is in charge of everything. So maybe it was they will that she came and spoke up. So for no other reason than to help the story go along because we need Jesus. He don't need us for nothing. But anyways, that's a good comment. Okay, that's a good comment.
Let's go.
We gonna go with that one. Okay, somebody read verse 12.
After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples,
Mm-hmm.
and they continued there not many days afterwards.
Thank you. That was very good, Deacon Kenny. Now, before we wrap up, I'm gonna bring a couple things up. Jesus always kept the end result of any action in mind. Throughout his time on earth, others sometimes asked or urged Jesus to do a specific thing or go to a certain place. But because he had the hour in mind, he had to move on his own timetable. On the occasion of the wedding at Cana, Jesus knew that performing his first miracle would not only show his love for his friends, but reveal his glory and cause his disciples to believe in him. Okay? This is the first of many miracles that John refers to as signs that Jesus would perform. Okay. As a result of witnessing his glory, the disciples believed in Jesus. This passage opens and closes with the mention that his mother and disciples were present with him. Okay. And then, let's see where we at here. 27, 21. I had the last two. Oh, light on the word. True hospitality is rooted in servitude, opening your heart and home to others that they might see the love of Jesus working through you. True hospitality is blessing others without expecting anything in return. Now, remember when I said earlier this about being the host? We are all hosts to people who are either seeking Christ, need to find Christ, wondering about Christ, don't know Christ, or already in Christ. Now, and it also said about here, make sure if you're the host, make sure you got enough food and beverage. Your food is you strengthening yourself in the word so that you can present it appropriately, so that you can also offer them the drink of knowledge about Jesus Christ and the glory of his gospel. Okay? Any questions? No. Okay. Well, thank you. Sunday school is concluded. Thank you guys for y'all's participation.